News producer Sydney Bowles, and this is our Superintendent Update, where we check in with Superintendent Eric Conti about what's going on in the Burlington School District. Eric, thanks for being here.
Sure, Sydney. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
So the big news is funding for Fox Hill.
Funding for Fox Hill.
This has been something that the district has been working on for years and years now. It must be a huge relief to have that settled.
Yes, it's exciting. It's again, it was about a 5-year process, and it came down to one night, and so it was pretty tense. And I think when given the opportunity, and town meeting, and asking all the appropriate questions they did, and getting them all the right answers, I think they made the right decision. And I think I don't know, I'm very excited. And as we discussed before the cameras came on, no rest for the weary. So we certainly are celebrating Fox Hill, but really working hard on the high school feasibility right behind it. So it's again, a lot of work to do. It can seem so far in the future, but maybe it's not that far in the future, I guess, because time goes so quickly. But I was really excited, and I think it's going to be such a community asset, and just we have buildings that need help, and Fox Hill was certainly one of the ones we needed to get done.
There's going to be more years of work. There's a pretty set timeline with a projected opening season already sort of planned for. What are the next steps, the next weeks, the next months? What does that look like?
Well, the documents are sort of halfway done, meaning we couldn't take the documents that exist and put them out and ask a contractor to bid on them. So the designer has a lot of work to do to create the documents that can be bid on by contractors, and that'll probably take the next year. As a part of that, they really have to finalize what the exterior is going to look like, what materials. They really need to look at the insides of the building. There's a lot more detail work that comes up, and I think an opportunity for some of the educators to get involved. There's a science behind what colors the classrooms are, and the light that's in the room, and all that stuff has to sort of be thought about pretty carefully over the next year. So probably around December of 2025, the documents will go out to bid, and all along the way, they're getting cost estimates. Remember, that's the amount town meeting approved is the sort of the maximum, and the goal here is that the prices that come back for completion of the project fit within that budget.
So now we get to put some meat on the bones, I guess. We get to see what the texture of the walls is going to be, and all that stuff that makes a building become real.
Yeah, again, they're not going to completely change where the building sits. I mean, there's so much work that's gone into already,
of course,
but again, it's the better the drawings, the more accurate the pricing can be, and I think we just need to allow them a chance to do that, and we'll meet along the way to make sure, again, that those detailed decisions are decisions that we all agree with and move forward with. So the work will continue. But having the building funded now, this is really sort of the part that you think about a school design would be. So, some of the finishes, again, what it's going to look like, all those type of things, and people will have to make some choices. And then when we get the bids back, depending on the price, we may have to make some reductions. We may have opportunity to make some adds, like solar panels. And so it's a dynamic process, but again, hopefully that. And then once you see I always say, once you see a bulldozer, it's usually 2 years from that date.
Okay. I want to touch on a couple of safety instances that took place at the high school since the last time you and I spoke here on the show.
Yep.
On a Friday and then the following Tuesday, there were a couple of instances where a student brought a knife to school, and then a subsequent unrelated issue where a security alarm was triggered due to a system malfunction. There was no safety issue, but there was a procedure that was followed as though that was real. It left a lot of people kind of shaken,
yep.
I think. There is a safety event scheduled for coming up on October 9th. what do you want people to know about that meeting? What sort of message do you have for the community sort of at this point in the process of moving forward from those events?
I guess I would ask that people show up and ask questions if they have them. I mean, we drill this stuff all the time, and people tend not to pay attention until there's a problem. And I understand why that is, and then all of a sudden it has everyone's attention. But we have to, tend to this all the time. It's our sort of the first priority is to make sure everyone is safe, students, staff, everybody. And so, the individual events are much harder for me to talk about because there are individuals involved. We have to communicate. We have to communicate vaguely, which I think is sort of frustrating for people, but everyone is entitled to sort of their privacy, and we have to protect students, all students. And so I would say the high school responded well to the incident on Friday when you mentioned the student brought the knife to school. Thought the teacher was remarkable in that situation and really de-escalated and again, did everything right. And hero is thrown around too much, but it really acted like in a very selfless way. So I thought that was the situation concluded well, but again, no one likes to be in that situation to begin with. And the lockdown malfunction, there's no better drill than the one that's unplanned, but again, I don't like that we have to plan for these events at all. The response time was incredible. Under 15 seconds for the resources that are in the building, under 45 seconds for the resources outside of the building. And we learned a lot from it, so we're going to have to continue to do that. The event on October, the night, for folks they're going to be able to ask questions, and again, we can't share everything, but I'm sure the Burlington Police will be there to answer some of that, and we defer a lot of the safety expertise to the police. They're a wonderful partner. But I think people may be curious about what the protocols are, why we have them, and I think there'll be an important night to ask those questions.
Are there any learnings from the event on Tuesday, the lockdown drill, I guess? Anything that you sort of took away from that as something that you might want to think about or that deserves to be paid attention to going forward?
The two main things for me is communication is critical. It's almost everything. And the amount of misinformation that gets out there very quickly, and my sort of responsibility to make sure that what I'm communicating is accurate and is accessible to people. I thought people would, I guess my thinking was people would wait to hear from me, or that my message would have more credibility than sort of some crazy thing on Facebook, but that was a realization that that's not true. So making sure that there's sort of a single point of communication, and that communication is timely and accurate. And then the other thing is the parental need to get to their kids as quickly as possible, and we need to have a more structured dismissal process and a way to, again, communicate to parents that their children are safe, but they need to stay out of the building because they're actually causing more issues for us. And again, never want to stand between a parent and their child, obviously, but we have to, again, I think that's where the communication comes in, and we just need to do a better job of that. So I'd say from the school perspective, making sure the communication is accurate and available and timely, and then recognizing that the dismissal or the reunification part of that is going to be something that we need to continue to practice.
So more information for folks about this, if folks are curious. There's, I should have written down more specifically, but it's here at the high school. 6:30. There's a meet and greet with the school resource officer, the PTOs, and then the safety event starts at 7 on the 9th.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Should we talk about sports?
Yeah.
All right. We're in sports season. It's lots of different teams doing lots of different things, but I know the football team has been having kind of a strong start to their season. Are you watching? Are you paying attention?
I am paying attention, and have enjoyed seeing the team sort of mature and grow together, and they have the sign in sort of the fitness center that says, trust the process, and I think they've been sticking to a process and gelling as a team. And again, I love the wins, but the fact that they are working together and working hard and seeing the result of that collaboration is just part of their development as people, and I think that's the most important thing. Coach Bailey and George is, again, I think a great role model for the student athletes, and again, that's kind of what I get it. And when I see the coaches working with the students, and it's sort of positive and upbeat, and that's all of our coaches. That's kind of what I like about the sports and the athletic season. So happy they're winning, and I remember a lot of the kids when they were very, very young, and now, and they're really sort of maturing, and it's fun to see. And I know that your BCAT specials are sort of followed far and wide, and I did have a lunch bet with the Woburn superintendent that he still owes me. He has to pay up on, so I'm going to have to track down.
For victory in that game?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, hold on. We got to pause there for a minute. Is this an annual thing?
Well, sure.
Okay, so hang on. So the Winn Street rivalry does not stop at the teams. It goes all the way to the superintendent.
Oh, of course.
Wow. What do you bet?
Lunch.
Lunch. So he owes you this year.
He does. He
okay.
owes me lunch.
It must be satisfying because we've lost to Woburn previously.
Yeah, it's try to.
So
I'm gonna gloat this year because I never know when it's gonna happen again.
All right. Well, let's end it on that note.
All
Superintendent Conti, thank you very much.
My pleasure, Sydney.
All right. This has been your Superintendent Update. I'm Sydney Bowles. Thanks for watching.